One, the access, like the one-on-one access, was something I hadn't really seen in other advertisements before. So the fact that Jack just like lets his calendar available and you guys let your calendar available is great. And then I do think that there's an element of like community too.
Have Peter here, who's here to share his journey that he's had through our program ECG Wholesale and our Brand Direct Blueprint. And before we dive in, I'll just introduce myself. My name is Dan Buford. I'm the founder of ECG Wholesale, and I'm a multi eight-figure per year Amazon wholesale seller. So, Peter, before we dive into some specific questions, can you share a quick background on yourself before ECG? What types of things you were doing? What industry you were in? As I understand it, you actually were brand new to Amazon. Were doing something totally different before.
Yeah, so my name is Peter. My kind of day job, I'm in a public accounting firm, so CPA, a lot of compliance work, and COVID hit where I jumped into doing some online arbitrage of collectibles, kind of here or there, and then yeah, recently a couple months ago, started doing wholesale brand direct with your team, which has been great. So
Awesome, very cool. Um, so basically, starting from scratch, more or less, what initial steps did you have to do to set up your business to be, poised to contact brands for wholesale accounts?
yeah, I mean the tools that you guys give really help you accelerate that sort of initial steps, which honestly is one of the parts I liked about it. You got basically direct information from the experts. So from setting up like website, knowing how to set up the formation of the business and the structure, really, I mean, creating that credibility in less than a month that normally takes someone probably multiple months to do was a really high value thing that you guys offered. So
Awesome. Yeah, glad to hear that. Yeah, I always like to say wholesale is business to business, whereas arbitrage is just you're kind of anonymous. So presenting yourself and your business in the right manner is super important to secure a wholesale account. So that's why we emphasize that business setup, and glad to hear you got value out of that. So um, so so now you're set up. You've got your LLC, you've got your website, email signature. What is your workflow for finding brands to contact that are the right fit, and then how are you contacting them? Is it mostly email, phone, other methods? Walk us through that a bit.
yeah, so kind of starting with the software stack you guys offer, I think Smart Scout literally gives you the exact blueprint, especially with all the filters nowadays, where you can. I mean, I literally go one by one. So
Nice.
um, it's easy if you have like I have a full time job outside of this wholesale as well, and it's very easy to just carve out like an hour here or there to crush through looking up some brands to contact, and then yeah, I essentially one by one go mostly email, some calls in I've gotten, but um, yeah, it becomes really repeatable and something you can do outside of your main job if you wanted to.
Yeah, awesome. And what has that looked like for you in terms of like how many suppliers you've contacted versus how many have responded versus how many you've opened up the account and are now buying from?
Yeah, so I guess starting from opened up has been a couple dozen distributors and then a
Wow,
handful
probably
of
dozen.
the
Nice.
Brander X. Yeah, so that's been great. Um, responding, I mean, you guys give the email templates. I was actually expecting a lower response rate, so that I was actually surprised about. Um, I'm probably like 50%, I don't know, 25 to
Wow. Yeah,
50% have
that's your
actually
first
responded back
year.
with something.
Yeah, nice.
So even if they say no, it's still good to know that whatever you're doing is working, and then yeah, I'd probably contact at this point like 500, 200 to 500 brands.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely a numbers game. I don't think anyone is saying otherwise. You got to put in the numbers, but if you do with quality outreach, I think it's almost an inevitability that you get responses back, catalogs. Your kind of case in point, 2 dozen distributors. I mean, that should give you a large well of products to resell profitably, especially if you're negotiating correctly. So yeah, that's great to hear. Let's see, just looking at my questions here. Have you experienced any sort of mindset shifts or learning since starting with Amazon, or is it pretty much gone exactly how you expected? I know you're kind of already in a business background, but
Let's think. I would say like you're never really too like a one person shop is not small enough in a I guess addressable market like Amazon of billions and billions of sales monthly even. And so when I'm looking at a listing, even if I was only thinking I would get 2% of those sales, that still to me as a one person shop is meaningful. And you really, and so that was, I think, a big mindset shift, not thinking that I had to be generating hundreds of thousands right off the bat to still sustain something or be successful. Like, it only takes a handful of accounts or a handful of profitable products for this to kind of take off. So,
yeah, exactly. Just two or three solid accounts, I mean, can replace the full-time income if you're really, on top of them in stock consistently of these products, which is cool. And the Amazon pie is just so enormous that even the tiniest of slivers of that pie is a meaningful amount of revenue and profit. So a lot of people think the game is really, really saturated. I disagree. I think yes, there are a lot of Amazon sellers. It's competitive, but the pie is so big that there's room for everyone, more than enough room. I still think there's ample opportunity. And then here in 2025, I actually read something interesting that the number of sellers on Amazon is declining. There's like a boom in sellers during the pandemic, and now a lot of them are getting washed out. So whenever that happens, those who are steadfast and have the right systems will actually capitalize on even greater market share. So,
yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
so that's awesome. Let's see. If someone watching this is on the fence about whether to start Amazon Wholesale, period, or whether to join a group like ECG, what would you say to them? Honestly, you know, knowing what you know now.
Yeah, I mean, knowing what I know now, I always thought groups were a little bit hokey. Which like
Yeah, I know a
actually
lot of
after
those
joining one
people.
and paying for one, like I mean I'm sure there were the bad ones too, but actually after joining one, like I wish I joined something sooner. Um, to be honest, like I think if you are someone who values your time pretty highly, like that alone is why I would join. As and like the purpose of this group is to pay yourself back that fee that we've given the group, and that then pays dividends after the fact once you sort of break even, et cetera. So I mean, I think it's worth it for the pure fact that the purpose of the group is for you to pay yourself back the fee that we then give the group.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, glad to hear that. Of the program, was there anything you found the most valuable or the most game changing for you within the program? I know you mentioned the initial business setup and website setup really fast tracked you, which is awesome. Anything else that stood out or helped you out in the program?
Yeah, I think probably two things. One, the access, like the one-on-one access, was something I hadn't really seen in other advertisements before. So the fact that Jack just like lets his calendar available and you guys let your calendar available is great. And then I do think that there's an element of like community too. Like I've never met most, if not every single person in that group yet. You could ping something in the chat, a question to anyone, and everyone's more than happy. So it kind of creates this like good community and tribe to help each other out, help people succeed.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. I love seeing the other group members answering questions on my behalf, and typically they're really solid answers. So, yeah, yeah, I think there's definitely value there for sure. Even for myself, because like, even as the guru, if you will, even though I hate that word, um, you know, sometimes I don't know if every single answer to every single problem because there's so many unique situations that come up in Amazon or like brand gating specific issues that maybe a member has gone through, but I haven't, and vice versa. So it's really great to crowdsource a lot of data, answers, best practices from a larger group of people. Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. And
Yeah, I also think like you guys are hungry too, so I could really tell that through the pitch initially. I think sometimes you can tell if a group is maybe just trying to skim something off you and
Yeah, for
ride your
sure.
coattails, and I don't know. I can definitely tell you guys are trying to innovate or give
Yeah, for
new
sure. Like,
features for us, give new things to us all the time. So
yeah, I appreciate you saying that because that is our mindset. That the product isn't static. That it's just like, oh, we recorded some videos. Here you go. F off. You know, we're trying to make it an evolving thing. We adapt with Amazon. We release best practices, and now we're building out distribution deals. And as far as I'm concerned, the product still isn't done. I want it to be so much better than anything out there. That is just kind of a no-brainer, like just a ridiculous amount of value offered. And I think we're doing a pretty good job of that already, but our work isn't done for sure. So yeah, stay tuned for more. And yeah, just want to say thank you very much for hopping on the call. I'm really glad that you've gotten a lot of accounts opened. I think you now have the keys to the kingdom, more or less, and it's really just a matter of how big you want to scale this thing. So yeah, really happy to hear that, and thank you for sharing your story and all the kind words for ECG. And yeah, good luck
yeah,
with continuing to build.
of course, glad I could take the time here with you guys. Appreciate it.